California. BYU and their road blues, St. Mary's and their home whites. And an emotional evening for the Gales with the jersey retirement of Matthew Dellavedova. And the Gales and Cougars getting set to fight for second place in the West Coast Conference behind Gonzaga. It's a rematch of a meeting from early February down in Provo, won by BYU. And welcome inside McEwen Pavilion here in Moraga, California. Just underway, and a whistle and a foul inside on BYU. And Eric Mika, the Cougars in their road blues, St. Mary's in their home whites. BYU won the first meeting earlier this month down in Provo between these two clubs in this fight for second place in the West Coast Conference behind Gonzaga. And an emotional start to the evening with the retirement ceremony of the jersey of Matthew Dellavedova here in Moraga. Where the Gales playing high energy coming out of the locker room. Beth Mullins along with Olympic gold medalist Kara Lawson with you tonight. Stephen Holt looking for three, short on the shot. This is Tyler Hawes with the rebound. Hawes is the third leading scorer in America and lit up the Gales for 33 points in their first meeting.
Well, that's going to be the matchup to watch. When you take a look at James Walker, going to see the lion's share of the time on Tyler Hawes. Such a difficult matchup. And we see Collinsworth off to a good start. He was very aggressive early in the first meeting, got going in the first half. So that's a tough matchup at 6'6" for Holt to check.
Hawes, Collinsworth, Halford on the perimeter, Nate Austin and Eric Mika, the starting five for the Cougars. This is James Walker on the drive and the kick out. Bo Levesque finding Brad Waldo inside for the lay-in. And a very balanced Gales attack. They're all five of their starters averaging in double figures.
It's very balanced, but I think the one matchup that could present BYU problems is Waldo right there. I mean, one-on-one, Dave Rose talked about wanting to be able to just play him with one man, not help off the other guys because they have some talented scorers.
Collinsworth can't knock it down, and a foul on the rebound. And that's on Eric Mika, and that is the big fella's second personal foul. Not even 2 minutes into the game, and a recurring theme for BYU springs up quickly. They're big guys in foul trouble, and they have to quickly bring in 6'10" freshman Luke Worthington.
Well, the big guys, not only in foul trouble on the road, it's also been lack of production. I mean, BYU has leaned too heavily on their perimeter scorers in road games. It's the reason why they're 2-5 in West Coast Conference play on the road.
They have a big non-conference road win across the bay earlier this year at Stanford, but it's been a real struggle for them away from home as Waldo gets the lane inside.
And right there you see 2 possessions, 2 scores. Brad Waldo up low, down low, and now Eric Mika with those 2 early fouls. We'll see how Worthington is able to do, the freshman, against the tough interior presence.
Pause, around and out, rebound for Walker. Walker pushes tempo. The kick for 3 to Kerry Carter won't go. Austin has the rebound for a BYU team that loves the fast tempo. 3rd highest scoring team in America. Trying to hook up Hawes with the back door taken away by Walker. James drops it off for Waldo. Already 3 buckets for Waldo early on in the paint.
Oh, I like it if you're St. Mary's. Keep going to him. I mean, you know that's a point of strength for you on the offensive end. Keep going to the big fella.
Long rebound. Carter 1-on-3. He'll take it into the lane, and a blocking foul called on Austin.
Normally we see BYU as a transition team, the team looking to push the pace, but nice job there by Kerry Carter just to draw contact. And it's one of the things that actually Tyler Hawes does really well. Number 3 on the other side. He really tries to push tempo. He's a contact seeker in transition. It gets him to the free throw line. Nice job there by Carter.
It certainly appeared too, as the secondary defender, Austin, his feet were outside the arc, and he seemed to be in a pretty good spot. But he has whistled for his first as Carter misses the free throw attempt.
I like guys that are ultra aggressive in transition because I think you get the benefit of the doubt a lot of times. When you attack and when you try and really be that contact seeker on the offensive end in transition.
Seven unanswered for St. Mary's. Hawes looking for his first bucket, and he's got it. The junior out of Alpine, Utah, 24 points per game. That's tops in the West Coast Conference. Levesque into the lane, tipped his own, missed. And Halford's got it, looking for Hawes on the run. Back to Halford. Boy, would they love to get him going. He's had a cold hand the last couple of weeks. Held ball, and it will stay with BYU.
Already you see off of misses, off of turnovers, the pace that BYU likes to play. And they're a fun team to watch. A really good offensive team. Tyler Hawes, the third leading scorer in the country. You mentioned it as a team. They average almost 87 points a game. So Dave Rose would love for this thing to be up and down.
Substitute here. Anson Winder, the junior from Las Vegas, coming in for Halford. Of course, their other Energizer bunny coming off the bench offensively is Matt Carlino, who had 6 threes in their last game. He's not in yet. This is Winder. He'll pull up. Worthington scrapping for the rebound, but Waldo comes away with it. Walker running the floor and scoring. Assist Holt. Hawes using the screen. That one in and out. The tip up, no good by Austin. The Gales clear it.
Got a few of those in and out there for BYU here early.
Waldo reach-in foul is going to be called. The Gales attacking early and often. They jump out to the 9-4 lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's and Lexus. Live a full life with the new 2014 Lexus CT Hybrid. ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's.
Well, this is a big one tonight in the West Coast Conference with Gonzaga 3 games clear of St. Mary's in second place. BYU right on their heels. The Cougars have a win over St. Mary's already on their resume, and both these clubs will have a shot at Gonzaga at least once more during the regular season. I'm Beth Mowins alongside Olympic gold medalist Kara Lawson, and a really hot start here for St. Mary's. They're able to score in the paint.
Well, they are, and this becomes an important game. So many times you look at the WCC and Gonzaga St. Mary's, and BYU with an opportunity to really take hold of that #2 slot in the conference. And from a big picture, both these teams still in the bubble conversation. So this is a really big game nationally.
Latest bracketology has both of these clubs on the outside looking in, although Joe Lenardi thinks that if BYU wins tonight, they would be in the field. And of course, as we go one-on-one, it all hinges on BYU's ability to be better on the road tonight.
Well, we talked about their struggles, and their struggles have really been about their defense. And you look at the differential, the points that they're giving up at home and on the road. And for St. Mary's, Stephen Holt, I mean, the wins and the losses, how different of a contribution they get. He's their Iron Man. He averages about 38 minutes a game. A lot of the offense goes through him. So we'll see what kind of night he can have tonight.
Early setback for BYU starting center Eric Mika. 2 personal fouls in the first 2 minutes. He is already out of the game. 8 of the 9 points have come in the paint for St. Mary's. 6 for Waldo.
This is what you'll see from BYU in the end out of bounds action. They'll go into their matchup zone. It's pretty active. Those back wings, Austin and Collinsworth, will come up if they need to attack these St. Mary's shooters.
Vivek missed the 2-footer. Scrap for the loose ball. Still not corralled, and now Collinsworth comes out with it. Worthington on the run in the collision. And they're going to call the offensive foul on Worthington, his first.
Got to give it an opportunity to take a step, and it looks like he got exactly that opportunity.
Tight corners.
Yeah, it was tight. How about Carter stepping in there? I mean, that wasn't Tyler Haws coming down. That was Luke Worthington. 6'10".
Walker trying to shoot over the top of the zone. Weak side board for Waldo.
So BYU goes one post now with Austin in the back of that zone. Where does that hurt you? Offensive boards. And we see St. Mary's get that. So those 2 guys on the back end of that zone are going to have to work really hard and maybe double box Waldo on the shot.
And Dave Rose told us today at shooting out, one of the problems on the road is too much time spent on the floor with this smaller lineup because of the foul issues. And Randy Bennett says, hey, we really like playing against the zone more than the man with the shooters that they have. Here's one of them, and Carter's short, and that will be a shot clock violation, never touched the rim. Here's a look at Randy Bennett in his 13th season. He is their career wins leader, twice the West Coast Conference Coach of the Year. And you talked about how year in and year out it seems like St. Mary's and Gonzaga, they have played for the West Coast Conference Championship in each of the last 5 seasons. And Bennett and company have won 2 of those titles. Haws. Tyler starting out 1 for 4 tonight. For the new guys in the West Coast Conference, now in their 3rd year in the league, trying to break through for a championship. After they had tremendous success in the Mountain West. Walker tries the baseline, lost it.
There's BYU with 2 pretty solid possessions defensively out of that zone. And Walker had the right idea there to attack that corner, force Austin to guard him, and then he would have had a little dump to Waldo. So I think St. Mary's understands what they need to do. It was just an execution problem there.
Walker deflects it and takes it away. And Walker, the lay-in at the other end. Collinsworth slashes to the rim and scores.
That's how quickly BYU can get back up the floor, and you're celebrating or feeling good about a made shot, and they're right back at you, finishing at the rim.
Levesque spinning and scoring inside. A couple more in the paint. Frank Bartley now into the lineup. and the reach-in foul called on Carter.
Cannot give Tyler Hall space. You give him space, he makes you pay. James Walker does a terrific job there, pushing up onto Tyler Hawes, and does a great job of finishing there. And then we talked about BYU and how quickly when they score, or when they get scored on, I should say, how quickly they're back the other end. That's what they look to, quick outlets, and they have a number of guys that can bring the basketball up the floor. And their transition is now going to go up another level with Carlino on the floor.
Instant offense checking on. Carlino will now take over to the point, and Collinsworth, who has moved over to the wing, called for the offensive foul on the baseline drive. And right there waiting for him was Jordan Giusti. That's the first on Collinsworth.
One of the things that St. Mary's talked about was the hard drivers that BYU has on the right side of the floor. Great job there by Giusti.
Yeah, that was my mistake. That was Levesque that was over there to take the charge.
It's just about anticipation. I mean, you talk about Levesque there and being that secondary defender. St. Mary's talks about paint, paint, paint. We've got to wall off the paint defensively, whether it's with Collinsworth or Halls with the basketball, and that was a great job by Levesque there.
And that's a good scouting report from the coaching staff. They talked about how Collinsworth likes the baseline drive today at their shoot-around. Surveying the zone again. Waldo trying to work on Austin. The kick out, Holt for three. Good box out for Austin. They don't rely on the big guy for a lot of points, but he's got to be good on the glass for him to have a chance. And then he turns it over. That's 5 giveaways for BYU.
You know it's going to be a physical affair. West Coast Conference, second place on the line. The Gales up 7.
Todd Grisham with a studio update. What a finish in Durham. 68-67, Maryland with a chance maybe to win it. No! Charles Mitchell, oh so close. Duke wins it. How about Coach Turgeon up and down, please? Look at the bench. Incredulous. Coach K with a sigh of relief as Duke wins their 30th consecutive home game. And look at over on ESPN3 right now. Syracuse in some big-time trouble as North Carolina State only trails by 1 with 9:10 left to go. Let's get you back out to Beth and Kara.
Well, the Orange, of course, trying to stay unbeaten for the rematch down at Cameron Indoor. North Carolina winner also today as they get set for a big Monday showdown with Florida State and then Okie State Baylor, the late game. Big Monday presented by Verizon. Both those games also live on the Watch ESPN app.
Well, Oklahoma State, close effort here without Marcus Smart today in Bedlam. lost by 3. Markel Brown missing a 3 at the buzzer that could have forced overtime. So it'll be interesting to see. It's another interesting team to look at, right? The committee's going to have to evaluate. In the Big 12, a losing record, missing 3 games without Marcus Smart. They've lost 2 of those already.
They do take that into account, injuries and key players missing. That's also something that the Basketball Power Index, the new BPI from the ESPN analytical staff, takes a closer look at as well. It goes a little bit more in depth than RPI if you want to keep track of that on ESPN.com. This is a big game for the bracketology of both these clubs right now. Joe Lunardi's got them on the outside looking in. And a foul is going to be called, the bump on Austin. And that's his second. So Austin with 2, Mika with 2. Worthington's going to have to come back into the game. And BYU will have to continue to play with the smaller 1 big man lineup. And Josh Sharp will also check into the game.
Every time the whistle is blown, that's like the entire BYU coaching staff puts their fingers up to their brows in frustration, because this has been an ongoing theme for this BYU team, and they're going to have to play smaller now. As you said, Josh Sharp, he has a little bounce to his game, but he's not a strong physical presence down there at the 4 spot.
Mika and Austin have combined a foul out of 9 games this year. And that's been problematic with them on the bench. Of course, BYU fans can take some heart in the fact that in the first matchup in Provo, St. Mary's got out to a 14-point lead in the first half, and then Brigham Young took over and won it going away.
I like the way Walker's playing on Hawes right now, just staying attached to him.
Here is that matchup. Hawes gives it up. Carlino looking for 3. And Walker with the rebound. Holt looking for the triple. No good.
I don't know why St. Mary's has gone away from Waldo. Even just a touch from Waldo, one-on-one. He's got the freshman Worthington on him on the offensive end.
Collinsworth short on the shot, kept alive by Worthington. He scoops it up underneath and draws the foul. That will go against Brad Waldo. That's his first personal.
Anything that Worthington does on the offensive end is a bonus. I mean, this is a guy that comes in, he averages less than a point a game. And so he's still not that much of a factor on the offensive end. They bring him in when Mika and Austin get into foul trouble. So putbacks, offensive rebounds, and playing solid defensively. That's what they expect from him for the next 10 minutes.
Terry Carter right behind him there has just checked back in for St. Mary's. Worthington with foul problems for the other bigs, getting more and more minutes. He's been in double figures in 3 of the last 4 games for the Cougs. And he will settle in that back line in the middle. St. Mary's is 0 for 5 on triples. In BYU's conference losses, they have gotten buried by 3-point shooters, so that's something they'd love to take away tonight. On the drive, Carter elevates at the rim. Pause. Collinsworth getting into the lane with contact, scores.
He's good. I mean, Kyle Collinsworth has really improved over the course of this season, his aggressiveness, and you see with that size advantage, even if he's guarded when he gets into the paint, he still has the ability to get a shot off.
He's a 6'6" guard in that lineup. Holt able to dial that one up. Assist Carter. And the timeout called by Dave Rose. They're down 10.
St. Mary's looking pretty good against this matchup zone. Stephen Holt, nice shot.
Welcome back to McEwen Pavilion. St. Mary's with the lead over BYU, 19-9. Beth Bowens and Kara Lawson with you tonight. Stick around. We got Matthew Dellavedova going to be joining us courtside for a chat. The first night for him with his retired jersey now hanging up in the rafters alongside Tom Busheri, the legendary hoopster that played here back in the late 50s and early 60s. Hawes over Walker. Tough shot, and he got it. Second basket for Tyler.
Well, right there you see the reason why Walker needs to stay as attached as he can, because if Tyler Hawes is able to catch it and turn and face, he feels really confident that he can make shots. 24 points a game.
Junior has been over 30 points 6 times this year and had that one 48-point effort against Portland. Waldo rounding down. He's got 8 in the middle. And Hawes is fouled on the drive.
I'm not sure how long Dave Rose is going to be able to stay in man. We've seen a ton of matchup zone from BYU, and this is the reason why, because Worthington is going to be outmatched there in a one-on-one situation against Waldo. And do you make the decision to bring extra help and leave some of their three-point shooters open? But I'd imagine we'd see more zone than man because of the foul situation for the BYU interior players.
That foul was the first on Walker. He's out of the game, so now it's Giusti defending Hawes, and the foul right away as Giusti grabs onto Tyler, impeding his ability to cut.
You mentioned how in the last meeting between these two teams that BYU got off to a slow start. What was really impressive to me was that Tyler Hawes didn't really force the issue in that first half. I mean, he stayed calm and eventually was able to wear St. Mary's down defensively and get quality looks, and exploded in that second half.
Collinsworth, another nice drive, but the finish wasn't there. They look right away to Waldo with the pass behind his head to Giusti. That looked like Arnie Duncan finding Skylar Diggins in the NBA celebrity game yesterday.
A little bit better defense on Brad than there was in that game.
Now Waldo trying to back in the rookie, and he draws the foul, and now all 3 of the bigs have 2 personals each for BYU.
How about this? The big fella, nice pass. Giusti with the finish. St. Mary's all over BYU.
Well, pregame tonight, a special ceremony for Matthew Dellavedova. They know him as Deli here in Moraga. His number 4 jersey retired, but a lot of ones for Matthew. Number 1, scoring, assists, 3-pointers, free throw percentage, games played, starts, and the Aussie Olympian, number 1 in the hearts of Gale fans certainly this evening. Congratulations and a terrific night for you. What have you enjoyed the most about this weekend coming back?
Just catching up with everybody. A lot of my, best friends and, the people I spent 4 years with are here. So it's just been great to catch up with the coaches and the boys, and my mum and dad came out, yeah.
When you think about your time here, Matthew, what's the first thing that pops into your head about playing for the Gales?
It's hard to pick one thing, but just the friendships and, the battles we've been in. And, yeah, it's just been a lot of fun.
Well, we were talking off the air about how this is Beth and I's first time to Moraga, and just the environment here that Randy Bennett has created. What is it like to play for him and then to play in front of these fans? This is a fantastic college basketball environment.
Well, Coach Bennett is great to play for. It's a point guard's dream. He gave me a lot of opportunities, and I'm always going to be appreciative of that. And then the fans here are unbelievable. Some of the games versus Gonzaga, you can't even, hear yourself think, let alone your teammates you're standing right next to. So it's a really special place.
Matthew Dellavedova joining us courtside here. Beth Mullins and Kara Lawson. Of course, one of your most memorable moments was against this BYU team down in Provo last year with your half-court heave to win it.
Yeah, I got lucky that time, but yeah, we'll definitely take it.
Right now, the Gales leading BYU 25-13 after that bucket from Josh Scott. Just 1 year removed now from St. Mary's and playing in the NBA in Cleveland. What has that been like for you as a rookie in the association?
It's definitely been a learning experience. There's a lot more games, and the pace of the game and the athletes and the skill level is really high. Every night you've got to be able to bring it, but I'm definitely enjoying it and learning a lot, and I think I've improved. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into it after All-Star break. You want
to test your hand at play-by-play right here and tell us what happened?
Well, Paul's hit a tough jump shot to take the lead, and then quickly looked up at the clock to see how much time was left, and Bo hit me with a bit of an outlet, and then I lost my mind. But, it was great having Mum and Dad there. That was a pretty special moment.
Television sets all across Provo just turned off for a few minutes. Reliving that one. This has become a pretty good rivalry now to join the one with Gonzaga that you talked about. And certainly you Australians have been a big part of the success here. What's it been like to follow in the footsteps of some of those guys that came over before you?
Well, it's been great. And when they came back to Australia, and they only had good things to say about Saint Mary's and Moraga. So I think that definitely helps recruiting.
That was a nasty fall for Kyle Collinsworth, and a collision going for a loose ball, and Coach Dave Rose is out to check on Kyle, who landed awkwardly. Chasing after the long rebound, and a 50-50 ball there, and unfortunate for Kyle Collinsworth, landing on that right knee. Kyle Collinsworth, the sophomore from Provo. And now the athletic trainer has come out onto the floor as well for BYU. Kyle Collinsworth is going to try and walk it off, help to his feet, and now apparently the athletic trainer will walk him back to the BYU locker room. With 6:31 to go here in the first. Good hustle play there by Collinsworth, and we see just what's at stake here, Matthew, and what these guys are after, a chance to win the West Coast Conference, a chance to play in the NCAA tournament, which is something that you did, taking the Gales to the Sweet 16 a few years ago. What can you share with your teammates and with these BYU guys that may not have had that kind of experience yet in their careers?
Well, I mean, the hardest thing to do is to get into the tournament. Obviously, you know, you can win the WCC championship, which is pretty hard to do, but the tournament is, you know, another level again, just everything that goes with it. But it's definitely something you want to try to get into. There's a lot of great memories from the few times we went.
Now, Deli, I was talking to some people before the game, and they told me that you actually came to the game earlier this year, and you bought your own ticket?
Yeah, well, we were playing Sacramento, so just got up to see most of the second half, so it was good to just quickly catch the second half. Yeah,
so you didn't think to call ahead or anything or tell them you come in. You just decided you'd go out to the trailer and purchase the ticket?
I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it, so got to support the program.
Okay, yeah. I hear it.
Here's a nice finish right here for Winder, and he gets the bucket looking for an and one, and that's the second foul on Holt. In the future, you could probably just walk in the door and point up to your retired number up there and say, hey, that's me.
I don't know about that.
So Winder at the line, Hansen, the junior from Las Vegas. As BYU working its way back into the ballgame. They've trailed by double digits here in the first half. In this fight for second place in the league behind Gonzaga. It's an 8-0 run despite that miss for BYU.
You know, one of the things Deli always like coming back after you graduate is you get an opportunity to see some guys take on bigger roles that you played with. And, you know, you remember Stephen Holt as a freshman or Brad Waldo as a freshman. What do you see from them this year that may be having kind of more of a role that they're fulfilling and how they've improved?
Well, it's pretty awesome to see that they're a lot more vocal and just, you know, doing a lot more than just, you know, just playing. And I just see Holt's running the team, and Waldo's been a big presence down low all year, and Bo Levesque's really stepped up as well leadership-wise, so it's cool to come back and see how they've progressed.
Held ball that will stay with St. Mary's after that last bucket by Tyler Hawes. There are the numbers for Matthew. And they're over 1,900 points, the 778 assists, and nobody started or wore the jersey more than you did, Deli. And describe for us what it was like for you to be able to put on that uniform at St. Mary's and what's been built here under your old coach, Coach Bennett.
Well, I mean, when he took over the program, I think 12 or 13 years ago, it was a 2-win program. So for him to, you know, be able to build it into what it is today and what we've been able to do the last, you know, 5, 6, 7 years, it's pretty impressive, and he deserves a lot of credit because he's really, really good at what he does.
Mika, who's back into the ballgame playing with 2 foul scores after Hudson got the bucket at the other end. Well, and much to Coach Bennett's credit and to yours and what's been built here, there will be improvements to a McEwen Pavilion in a couple of seasons. They can't keep the people out. They got to add some more seats, so they'll be doing that as well.
Yeah, that's going to be really good for the program. A few extra seats and weight room, so they're really looking forward to that.
You know, one of the things we got to witness today, Beth, that shoot-around, which I thought was a pretty cool tradition that you guys do here at St. Mary's, is the seniors getting to speak to the team at the shoot-around. And so there's 5 seniors, so Randy Bennett talked to us about that the last 5 games of the year they get to do that. And that was pretty cool to watch. The fella at the line right there today give a speech and watch the emotion when he spoke about his experience at St. Mary's. Can you remember when you had to do that?
Yeah, I did it. I actually did it the day before senior game because, I wanted to get it out of the way the day early because it is a pretty emotional thing to do, but it's great to get the opportunity to tell your teammates and coaches how much you care and before you go out to play a game.
Hodgson is at the free throw line because Eric Mika just picked up his 3rd personal foul with just over 4 minutes to go here in the first. And Tyler Haws is heating up. He's knocked down his last 3 shots. Here he is with the ball. Walker trying to contain him. And a one and done. Rebound Levesque. We are now under the 4-minute mark. We've got a media timeout coming up. Dele, we want to thank you very much for taking a few minutes here on a busy night, a big night for you to join us.
No, thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Matthew Dellavedova, that number 4 jersey now hanging from the rafters here at McEwen. Able to stop by during this NBA All-Star weekend as Walker gets the baseline win. He's got 6. Carlino, lefty looking for a triple. And knocked out of bounds. It will stay with BYU. Thanks so much, Matthew. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Enjoy the rest of your night. That number 4 forever up top.
Todd Grisham here with a studio update. Oh, man, what a game. North Carolina State and Syracuse. Tyler Ennis with the steal. That's goaltending. It cut the lead to 1. Right now, the Orange up by 1. Complete highlights coming up on our Land Rover halftime report. We'll also show you what happened between Duke and Maryland. It came down to the last second. Miles Simon and Andy Katz in studio just moments from now.
Thanks, guys. Coming up in just over 3 minutes. 32-23. St. Mary's on top. A couple of stories for BYU. That is starter Kyle Collinsworth, who landed very awkwardly and hit the deck hard, injuring his knee. We are uncertain yet of the severity, but a good sign that he has been able to come back out and join his teammates over on the bench. The other story is Eric Mika, who is sitting next to him there, one of their starting big guys. 3 fouls in just 5 minutes of play, and that has allowed Brad Waldo to dominate in the paint. He's got 11 points. BYU able to hang around because of the play of Tyler Haws. They've hit 6 of their last 8 from the field. Haws has been warming up, and a rare miss for Tyler at the free throw line.
Well, that's gone wrong for BYU, as you referenced here in that first half. I mean, they're depleted. They've got freshman Luke Worthington, who doesn't see a ton of time normally manning the paint. So we'll see out of this zone if they can get some stops.
Levesque missed it inside. Hodgson tied up for the rebound, and it will go to BYU. St. Mary's shooting over 60% so far in this first half. They've had 7 different guys score and help them out to this lead, and this is terrific for Brigham Young as Collinsworth returns to the lineup. After the nasty-looking injury earlier, Collinsworth is back. Gives them another scorer, another rebounder, another distributor. Carlino into the lane, fouled on the shot. It's going to be on Paul McCoy, his first. Got a big day for you on the women's side. The ESPN, a proud partner in the Play for K initiative, which raises money and awareness for women's cancer research. Check the local listings for the game in your area. There's a whole bunch of them going on, including your former team, the Lady Vols of Tennessee, taking on Kentucky. Play for K, part of Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's. It's all to honor the memory of Kay Yowd, longtime head coach and former Olympic coach from NC State. BYU now just 1 of 6 from the free throw line. Another 10 on the shot clock. McCoy looking to create. Gets into the lane, spins away from the defender, won't go. Knocked out of bounds off of the Cougars.
Just a little bit more active there, and I was just going to ask the question, where's Holton Waldo? Because offensively, you can only have so many guys that are going to pass the buck there against that matchup zone. You got to have some players that are willing to step up and make a play, and certainly Waldo and Holt are able to do that.
This is Holt, number 14. Waldo, the 0-0, down on the block. Carter trying to shoot over the top of it, gets the three.
And right there, you see the difference with Waldo and Holt into the game. There's a lot more spacing for guys like Carter and Walker, a little bit more time to rise and fire beyond the three-point arc.
Spinning inside, tried to muscle that one up. Comes out to Hawes. Tyler attacks. And the tip up and in from Collinsworth. Hobbling a little bit on the knee, but he elevated just fine right there. He's third in the league in both assists and rebounding. You don't see that combo very often. That speaks to his versatility.
He's definitely one of the better all-around players in the country. Probably have Kyle Anderson and DeAndre Kane near the top of that list, but
Carter looking to go for 2 in a row. That's off the mark. Waldo gets him another possession, and now they can hold for 1.
Really good first half for St. Mary's, particularly on the defensive end. Remember, this is a BYU team that averages 87 points per game, and they have 25 points in the first 20 minutes. Great defensive effort by the Gales.
Waldo setting the screen up top, then rolling underneath. Levesque open for 3. No good. Holt, second chance, won't go. Couple of looks for the Gales, and they will have to be content with the 10-point lead heading into the locker room. At the end of the first 20 minutes of play, 35-25. Now let's get you to Chris Cotter, Miles Simon, and Andy Katz in the studio. Andy Katz, excuse me, in the studio for the Land Rover halftime report.
This is indeed the Land Rover halftime report. We start with this. North Carolina and Syracuse in action right now. A tough travel day for NC State.
Charter issues for NC State. They did not get to Syracuse until 1:30 this afternoon. That's why the game was moved from 3 to 7 o'clock.
But it didn't affect them. Rakeem Christmas with the jam there. Trevor Cooney with the steal and the dunk. We're tied at 26. Second half now, NC State up 1. Kyle Washington going with the left hand. Why not?
Washington having a big game, 14 points and 9 rebounds.
And then Ralston Turner with a deep three. It's been that kind of night for the Wolfpack. Syracuse, remember, with a school record 24 straight wins, but right now it is a 1-point game alongside Miles Simon and Andy Katz. My name is Todd Grisham. What do you make of what North Carolina is doing right now?
Well,
North Carolina State.
Well, I really feel it's almost like a letdown game after the big victory earlier this week against Pitt. When they make the last-second shot, you kind of overlook NC State because they're towards the bottom half of the ACC, and obviously it's NC State's biggest game of the year.
And Tyler Ennis, who was obviously the hero in their win over Pitt, he commits a silly foul on a shooter, and then he's unable to convert a layup. He's been sensational in the last couple of minutes of this season, really an All-American. Just a couple of lapses here toward the end of this NC State game.
We'll keep you updated on that game as soon as it goes final. But a game that is finished, and what a finish it was. Duke at home against Maryland. Duke looking for their 30th consecutive home victory. And Maryland, of course, leaving the ACC, but they're not leaving quietly. Under 5 minutes left, Jabari Parker denied, but recovers. Finds Rashid Suleiman, who hits the three. Duke up 2.
Suleiman has been sensational since that benching against Michigan, really accepting his role. He's really lifted up Duke this season.
Des Wells, what a second half he had, Miles.
Yeah, Des Wells, 17 points, all in the second half, really carried Maryland on his back.
And then Jabari Parker, his 15th game with at least 20 points, Andy.
23 in this game. That was a decisive dunk, but Maryland had another shot here.
A chance here for the Terrapins in the win. Charles Mitchell, no! So close, and Duke holds on. They survive at home. Mark Turgeon, oh, the humanity.
Well, Maryland doesn't get Duke at home.
Hey, let's give you a live look in right now. Syracuse and NC State, 15 seconds to go. Here we go. And a charging call
on Tyler Ennis, sort of uncharacteristic the way he's finished games, Miles.
Yeah, usually Tyler Ennis, one of the most in-control players in the country. Cap Harbor does a great job of moving his feet right there, and you see the extension by Tyler Ennis.
No complaint from the Syracuse bench. Christmas comes out, Benajay comes in.
Here's Steve Martin and Mike Cheminsky with the call.
Long court pass to Warren. He makes the catch. He gets the basket. It will not count. It happened right inside the lane. Warren will have to get it the hard way. Cooney had the foul.
Well, I love the play. You know, if you're going to make a mistake, make it long. They sent Warren out. Selling it hard.
You might get that in the NBA, but you're not going to get it here.
Well, again, the foul with that, not a shooting foul. It's taking the ball out of bounds.
That's right. Not going to the foul.
And you have to set this up without a timeout.
That's the 6th foul now on Syracuse. Inbounds it comes. Steal! Christmas! Ennis at it again. Here comes Fair for the lead!
Yeah, now it's goaltending. Good basket.
Goaltend by NC State. Here comes NC State out of timeouts. Warren puts it up. No. Rebound. Fair. Tipped out. Game over. Turner's shot came after the buzzer. And Syracuse survives and beats NC State 56-55. And what a ball game here at the Carrier Dome. A team record 25-0, and they fought for every inch of it tonight against NC State. 2 huge turnovers by NC State. But Goaltend was counted. Here it is. There's the steal. And they call goaltending because Turner's in the net. Counted for Syracuse, and it's a win for the Orange. We'll get a final word for you from Syracuse.
Back-to-back thrilling wins for Syracuse, first over Pitt and then this over NC State.
And mind you, that was a freshman that was trapped in the corner. Cat Barber hadn't been in a situation like that in his college career yet. Panicked with the basketball. No timeouts were left for the Wolfpack.
And the play before that, Miles, you were saying you thought maybe there should have been an and one, not called on the floor. Tough break for Mark Gottfried at NC State.
Absolutely should have been a continuation. TJ Warren was going into his motion, didn't take another dribble when Cooney fouled him and laid it in.
Another great game coming up next. Highlights from Memphis and UConn. They went to overtime.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Constant Contact, helping small business do more business, and Viagra. Welcome back to the Land Rover Halftime Report.
Some insane games today, as we've already shown you. This one not too shabby either. The first game of the day, Memphis and UConn. You were there, Andy.
Yeah, I was up close and personal to Shabazz Napier with 34 points in 35 minutes, 5 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals, and he still had to go to overtime, Miles.
Next play. We're tied at 69. Memphis, a big rejection by DeAndre Daniels. A scrum would ensue. It would be UConn ball.
Yeah, shot clock violation ends up happening right there. Memphis doesn't get a shot at the end of the game, but then Shabazz Napier, he's done it before.
Oh! In and out, up and down, around, no good. We go to overtime. NOT, Ryan Boatwright, backdoor cutting the lay-in.
One of those assists from Napier, really trying to spread the wealth there because they were keying so much on Napier.
And then DeAndre Daniels, get it out. Another huge block from him. Next UConn possession, Boatwright for 3. UConn up 4.
When Napier and Boatwright are playing together like this and are in sync and scoring, this could make for a tough out in the NCAA tournament.
By the way, if the season ended today, this would be the 4-5 game in the American tournament, so they may meet again in Memphis.
And there's Shabazz again. 34 points, 5 rebounds, 4 steals. UConn wins it in overtime, completing the 2-game regular season sweep. In this game, over on ESPNU, Baylor has just tied Kansas State. Brady Heslop with the 3-pointer. We'll show you those highlights coming up next.
This halftime report is presented by Land Rover, above and beyond. This halftime report is presented by Land Rover. Above and beyond.
Cherry, the floater, not there. Gibson taps it. Cherry saves it. Franklin launches a three. No good. Jefferson, the offensive rebound. It's not there. Austin to Heslip for the tie. It's good!
How about that? They're in overtime over on ESPNU right now. And in case you missed this, Syracuse in big trouble at home, Miles. With 12 seconds to go, they trail by 1.
Well, Cat Barber gets trapped in the corner. They had no timeouts. He's got to split that double team or have more poise with the basketball.
And great transition there from Christmas to Ennis to Fair for the winner.
You guys are on College Basketball Live midnight tonight on ESPN2. Carb up. You've got some amazing finishes to get through. We'll be back in a minute.
You're watching ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's.
These wicked games.
Welcome back to the San Francisco Bay Area and up in Moraga, California. At the half, 35-25, St. Mary's. They own the paint offensively, and they really put the handcuffs on BYU at the defensive end. Have this 10-point advantage. Beth Mullins along with Olympic gold medalist Kara Lawson, and you got a BYU team that averages 85 per game, held to 25 in that first half.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good effort. Now, BYU was hampered by their interior players picking up fouls, but when you take a look at all that is the BYU offense, I thought St. Mary's walled off the paint. I thought they did a great job of keeping BYU off the offensive glass. Randy Bennett has to be really happy with his team defense.
BYU does not get a three-pointer in the first half, and they did not help themselves at the free throw line where they went just 1 of 6. Tyler Hawes and Kyle Collinsworth with 8 each. Brad Waldo leading the way for St. Mary's with 11. And you referenced the foul problems for the big guys. Eric Mika only played 5 minutes. Nate Austin just 9 minutes in the middle for BYU. Mika stays on the sideline. It's Austin, Worthington, Hawes, Winder, and Collinsworth for the Cougars. Holt, Levesque, Carter, Waldo, and Walker in white for St. Mary's.
We know how quickly BYU can score. We talked about this their first meeting. St. Mary's was very good in the first half, and then BYU came out with an offensive explosion in the second 20 minutes and ran away with the ball game.
Winner tonight gets second place in the West Coast Conference behind Gonzaga. And if you're talking about 2 teams from this league getting NCAA tournament bids, obviously that is a significant move to be number 2 instead of number 3. Bracketology today from Joe Lenardi has both these clubs on the outside looking in. Holt trying to beat the shot clock and does.
You know, you mentioned it, a really important game for both teams. And I think when you take a look at BYU and their resume with wins at Stanford, a win over Texas, for them to get a season sweep of St. Mary's would do a lot for their tournament resume.
St. Mary's might have to rely on a second-place finish and a berth in the West Coast Conference Championship game, which is where they've been in each of the last 5 years against Gonzaga. Walker splits the defenders, finds Waldo, and Brad's first miss of the day. He went 4 for 4 in that first half. Collinsworth, nobody stops ball, and Kyle saw backsides in front of him, and he took advantage.
Well, transition defense is always a point of emphasis when you play BYU, and you cannot allow Collinsworth to go coast to coast untouched.
Waldo lays it off for Levesque, missed the chippy. Hawes curls off the screen, gives it back to a wide open Winder, and there's the first triple of the night for BYU.
Starting to see now BYU make some inroads on the offensive end. So what happens when fatigue or lack of focus sets in for St. Mary's defensively? Tyler Hawes will make you pay. Nice pass.
Waldo working on Worthington and a foul. See if they get it for Collinsworth.
Transition defense paramount when you play BYU. They like the pace to be up and down, and you have to believe that after putting up 25 in the first half, this is a group that's going to come out and try and push the pace even more. And so not a good job there by St. Mary's. And Collinsworth, we saw him go down in the first half. Looked like he tweaked his knee a little bit, but he looked pretty good there on that sprint.
He's just been whistled for his second personal as Waldo hits the free throw. 12 points tonight. He only has 14 points in his last 2 games. He was kind of quiet after being in double figures every other game this year, except for one. Levesque doubled. Skip to Walker. Sliding into the paint. Collinsworth had it. Walker trying to tie it up. Cougars come out. Hawes off the crossover. Good hustle play there to keep it alive for Worthington. Collinsworth had it and lost it. His eyes got really big when he saw the open lane to the bucket.
I thought his eyes got really big when he saw Brad Waldo as a secondary defender coming over. He made him change his direction a little bit. He saw the big fella coming over there. and help defense instead of maybe I should change direction, and then lost the basketball.
Garrett Jackson now into the ball game, flashing high for St. Mary's. Here is Jackson with the catch. He was ejected for a flagrant elbow in the first matchup between these two as Holt cans a three. Collinsworth elevates and hits.
I love when Stephen Holt is aggressive on the offensive end for St. Mary's, particularly against his zone. I think he can hunt for shots a little bit more. I know he's trying to run the offense and get all his guys touches, but he's a really good three-point shooter, and I think he can be more aggressive with that.
Deflection taken away by Collinsworth. The push to Winder, bothered on the shot and the foul on the rebound. That'll be on Waldo. That's his second.
BYU, they're looking to push back into this ball game. Kyle Collinsworth, great all-around game. Looks like the Cougars are back in this.
ESPN's Journey to the Tourney, presented by Sonic. It's a spotlight on some of the impact games around the country. We'll have Syracuse-Duke Part 2 for you next Saturday at 7 Eastern on ESPN and also on the Watch ESPN app. The Carrier Dome on February 1st. The two winningest coaches with over 900 W's, and Rashid Salman with the three to tie it at the end of regulation. And then the Orange able to work their magic. Jeremy Grant at 8 in the OT. CJ Fair, a career high. The foul that wasn't called, was it or wasn't it? Syracuse wins it 91-89. And earlier today, both those teams with nail biters, and wins at the buzzer for the Orange and the Blue Devils as the Q stays unbeaten.
How good was that Syracuse ending? I think we might have seen Tyler Ennis, his first turnover in the last 5 minutes. I think we might have seen that with that offensive foul.
CJ Fair with a game-winning bucket. And Duke squeaked by Maryland as they inch closer to their showdown next Saturday night. St. Mary's on top 41-34 early in the second half. Carter picks it out the backside. Walker. That won't go. Rebounded by Austin. Collinsworth to Hawes. Tyler on the run, and a blocking foul is going to be called on Carter. And Hawes a little sore getting to his feet.
You know, one of the things I thought was interesting that Randy Bennett talked to his team about transition defense is he said, if you match up with Tyler Hawes in transition one-on-one, that is not good enough because he does that. He's just a contact seeker. And you need to have two guys. We need to have other players in the paint. It's not just about matching up with the basketball. It's about getting all five guys back and deterring Hawes from getting into the lane because the help defense, he sees an army. He sees two guys, three guys, four guys. But you just match up with him one-on-one, and he's going to take advantage. You don't score that many points as a team's featured player through 26 games of the season, 27 games this season. You're doing something right because every team game plans for this young guy. Every team game plans for him, and he's shown an ability to continue to score at that rate.
Number 3 in the country behind Antoine Mason of Niagara and Doug McDermott of Creighton. That whistle obviously came before the shot. Otherwise, Hawes would have been at the line where he does a lot of damage. Collinsworth, short on that shot. Carter's got it. Back into the zone, which Randy Bennett told us St. Mary's prefers to attack when they're playing BYU. Here's Holt. And that's the reason why they can knock down the triple.
You know, when their passing has been crisp around the perimeter and they've been able to move that basketball to take advantage of two guys with one player, their quality of looks have been better. And I thought at times the passes have been laid on reversal or an inside out, but Stephen Holt gets it in rhythm. He's got a good chance to knock it down. Let's take a look at what happened to Luke Worthington.
Worthington went to box out Hodgson.
Looks like it's just two guys going hard for that rebound. Worthington gets the worst of it.
He's protective of that right shoulder, which is where the initial contact was made going for the box out. So now Mika returns. Eric has been severely limited today, has only played 5 minutes after picking up a couple of early fouls. Now playing with 3.
It's not like BYU needs their post players healthy or anything in this game. I mean, my goodness.
And that time the St. Mary's player ran into Mika and got whistled for the foul. That's on Carter, and now he has 3. Walker continues to check Hawes. Mika with the catch underneath, and in traffic gets it to go.
That was a really good adjustment by Eric Mika, the freshman. He's so skilled. We haven't seen a lot of him tonight, but this is a young man that's got a bright, bright future. Now he's going to go on a 2-year mission after this season, so BYU will not have him until the 16-17 season, but he's got pro potential. I mean, really good hands, solid scorer down on the block, and a big-time body.
They've got a couple of big guys, transfers coming in next year with Mika away. And that's going to be a kick ball against BYU.
You know, the biggest area for growth at Eric Mika as we're in the middle of February as a freshman is still understanding how physical he can play without not picking up fouls. I mean, that seems to be the issue for him, and he continually gets in early foul trouble and really puts his team at a disadvantage. So you want to be physical, you want to be a presence down there, especially against some of these front lines you'll see in the West Coast Conference. But you can't continually game after game put your team at a disadvantage because you're your team's best post scorer. I mean, let's face it, Austin and Worthington, they're not great scorers. Mika can score on the block.
Nice look off the inbounds. Now 10 for Hawes. On 5 of 11 shooting tonight. Oxen got behind that line. Mika got a piece of it, and it goes over to Brigham Young.
And this is the other thing it gives you. We talked about physical presence in the paint. Nice job there by Eric Mika. Great timing. And we talked about how much BYU struggled. They've struggled on the offensive end. They've had a couple guys get banged up, and Austin gets that bucket. They're down 4 points. Down 4 points, and this is a team that can get going on a hot streak offensively at any time.
A 10-3 run for BYU. They've been down by as many as 14 tonight. Levesque taken away by Hawes, and the foul is going to be called on Bo, trying to get the ball back. His second.
A little bit more of an active zone, and you see Levesque just trying to force the issue there and split 2 defenders. And you're going against a zone and 2 players are on you. That means there's an opening somewhere else. You can force out a closeout situation with a skip or a quick reversal. So not sure of the decision there by Levesque to split those 2.
Will depart. Garrett Jackson returns. And all the momentum in blue right now. Mika fouled, and Eric Mika playing with a ton of confidence since returning to this ball game. And that's 4 now on Kerry Carter.
Just one-on-one play, and absolutely there was contact. I think he even got hit across the side of his head there a little bit. How about the energy boost that Eric Mika has come in and given them? And you know, you think a guy that's playing with 3 fouls might shy away from some of that contact, but he has not. And he's come in and given them a great boost on both ends of the floor.
So their starting guard exits with 12:18 to go. Jordan Giusti has come on. Mika gets 1 of 2, and it's a 1-possession game. Winder tipped that one. Active hands right now for BYU defensively. Last 6 possessions for Randy Bennett's club. 1 basket and 3 turnovers. Juicy's open. Rebound Jackson. Walker. Arching shot over Mika for 2. Austin will kick out. Winder for 3. Waldo has it.
Sometimes you pass it too much around the perimeter. You miss the opportunity to give Waldo the post up.
Jackson rebounds. They'll scrap for the loose ball. Waldo's got it. Winder tipped it out of bounds. It will stay with St. Mary's. When we come back, Walker on the pull-up, raining tonight in St. Mary's. They're up 5.
Todd Grisham here with a Buick Studio update over on the U. Baylor and K-State doubled overtime. Brady Heslop hit a three to force it in overtime with a buzzer beater. He makes that bucket there. They are up 11 points. Elsewhere, Kentucky and Florida in a big one over on ESPN. Syracuse survives by the narrowest of margins at NC State. You can catch all the best highlights for the best presenters, Andy Katz and Miles Simon, midnight Eastern on ESPN2 as Buick presents College Basketball Live.
Well, a lot on the line tonight here in Moraga, California, as Tom Meschery looks on. The former great here at St. Mary's for decades. His jersey was the only men's basketball jersey that was hanging from the rafters, and that changed tonight with the retirement of the number 4 of Matthew Dellavedova, joining that list of other Gales in all sports that have had their jerseys retired. And a big night for Matthew, the all-time leading scorer here, joining Meschery up top. On a 14-point lead for the Gales has been whittled down to 5. BYU shooting 60% in the second half. And St. Mary's unable to get Brad Waldo touches inside.
You know, I don't really understand it. When you take a look with Eric Miko with the 3 fouls and the fact that they have struggled. I mean, he should not go more than 2 possessions without touching the basketball in the paint.
Pause over Walker. BYU able to keep it alive. The hustle play from Nate Austin.
I thought Hawes got hit there on this jump shot. Watch his elbow. I'm not sure if we're going to get a chance to see it. I think Walker hits him, and that's why that thing just died like a quail right there in the air, because when you hit that elbow, it drops.
Tyler's 5 for 12, 10 points tonight. He's had just 1 trip to the free throw line. And the foul is going to be called on Garrett Jackson. That will be his first. 6th team foul on St. Mary's. Just 1 BYU foul so far in this second half. And so the next one for BYU will be the bonus. So much at stake tonight for these two teams. Second place in the West Coast Conference, and a much needed win for the resume for the NCAA tournament. Hawes got it on the inbound. BYU loves to find him, and they're out of bounds place.
Yeah, that's the guy you circle. And that was just a simple pick-to-picker. But if you get caught on that screen and Holt got held up for just a fraction of a second, it's all Tyler Hawes needs to get a break.
Jackson, the USC transfer, gets the lay-in. Collinsworth over Holt. That one died on the back of the rim, and a smile from Collinsworth as he heads the other way. He's got 14. Let's see if they can get Waldo a touch inside. Just 1 shot attempt through the first 11 minutes of the half. Shot clock's down to 5. Walker on the drive. There's the dish to Waldo. Missed the layup, and then got the follow.
Yeah, and that's something else that we haven't seen a lot of here in this second half is the St. Mary's guards being able to penetrate to get into the paint with ease. Right there, a nice job by Walker to free up Waldo.
Mika with the face up now, trying to back it down, and Holt got the strip.
You know, we gave so much credit to St. Mary's in the first half for the job they did defensively. But how about the job BYU's done defensively so far? I mean, they've held St. Mary's to just 15 points here in the first 12 minutes of the second half. That zone much more active, right? Out in passing lanes a little bit more. That's the one area they're leaving open right there as Jackson gets to travel, is that middle free throw line area.
9th turnover for St. Mary's. We've got a break in the action with 7:55 to go.
Well, Brad Waldo, he talked about him getting the basketball more. He's able to follow up his miss and keep the Gales in the lead.
Todd Grisham with a studio update over on ESPN. Kentucky's won 81 of 83 home games under head coach Calipari. And they're doing okay right now, up 6. That was James Young with the bucket. Some other games to tell you about. Texas wins, San Diego State wins, so does Ohio State. Or actually, they're winning. My apologies. I don't want to jinx them. Some fantastic finishes today. Hopefully we'll have another one out there in California as we send it back to Beth and Kara.
I gotta remind you about Big Monday coming up. We had a good double header for you. It's Big Monday presented by Verizon. Carolina, Florida State out of the ACC at 7. Then Oklahoma State, Baylor, and Big 12 action at 9 o'clock. Big Monday presented by Verizon. Both those games live on your Watch ESPN app as well as ESPN. BYU in conference play on the road. It's been a struggle. They've been giving up nearly 19 more points per game on the road than they were at home. It's a much maligned defense that has been awfully good in the second half as they have held St. Mary's to just 37% shooting, while offensively they're over 60%. As Hawes is fouled on the drive by Waldo. That's his third.
You know, here's what makes Tyler Hawes so difficult to defend is that, one, he has so many options within BYU's offense, and he's able to make the correct read 9 times out of 10. And so you have a guy like James Walker who's done a pretty good job on him so far. But you make a small mistake here or you hesitate for just a fraction of a second, and he's so good offensively that he will make you pay.
And he is the best free throw shooter in BYU history. Hawes and Danny Ainge, the only 2 Cougars that reached the 1,000-point mark as sophomores, and he will have a shot next year at the top spot in Cougar scoring history. That, of course, belongs to Jimmy Fredette. There's a steal. Collinsworth, mid-range, short. Waldo with his 9th rebound of the night. This is Waldo. They continue to play without Kerry Carter. He's got 4 fouls. Jackson soars in for the rebound.
He's giving them some good minutes for Levesque here in the second half, just being an active presence there in the middle of the zone.
Walker face guarding Hawes along the baseline, and they're going to get Hawes for a shove, trying to get Walker out of his jersey.
Really good job defensively by Walker here. Watch him. He plays on the top side. Hawes doesn't like it, and he gives him a little bit of a push into the screen.
First on Hawes, just the 2nd team foul this half for BYU. James Walker off his career-high scoring 21 points against San Diego. His job today on the defensive end. Try and limit the effectiveness of Tyler Hawes, who's been doing it thus far. And St. Mary's is on top, a shade over 6 to play.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's.
The Bay Bridge on a nice night in San Francisco. We are inland, Moraga, California, St. Mary's and McEwen Pavilion, where Coach Randy Bennett has won 81% of his games. The last 3 years, just 1 home loss each of those seasons. We're 14-1 this year. And here is the resume for St. Mary's. Their BPI and RPI around the 50 mark. It's not the strongest of schedules, and when the only quality win is North Dakota State, that could be problematic. That's why this is big for them tonight.
Well, this is big for them tonight, and then also in 2 weeks they host Gonzaga, which gives them an opportunity to get a really big win, a win over a team that is in the field, according to our Joe Lenardi. So, this is a big game for both teams, as you referenced it, but St. Mary's having the opportunity for a win and to play both BYU and Gonzaga at home the last couple weeks of the WCC season.
BYU will be hosting Gonzaga next week on the ESPN networks. Walker off of the ball fake. Austin had it and then got it back. Dave Rose spoke of what a great opportunity is for the Cougs to get the top 2 teams in the league right above you in the standings, and you get to play them back-to-back. They really make a statement for their NCAA tournament hopes. Collinsworth trying to step around Holt. No. Austin keeps it alive. Carlino on the drive, short on the scoop. And a foul going to be called on the rebound. And that is going to be on BYU. And Eric Mika, and that's his fourth. There's a look at the Cougar resume. Stanford and Texas, outside of Austin, the folks in Provo are the biggest Texas fans in the country. That's a nice looking win for them right now, with Texas in second place behind Kansas.
And at the time, it didn't seem like it would be a great win, because Texas had their struggles early on. Of course, Rick Barnes doing a terrific job. He has a few freshmen in that rotation, and Longhorns took their lumps early. But since Big 12 play, a conference that you could say is the best conference in the country, they've come up smelling like roses there.
West Coast Conference over the last decade or so has always gotten at least 2 in, and on a couple occasions 3 teams into the tournament. That pass ricocheted off the basket. St. Mary's will keep 8 on the shot clock.
Coming into this road trip for BYU, they had to be feeling good about themselves when you take a look at 4 straight wins, and certainly that loss, getting upset against Pacific, really put the pressure on them for these next 2 games. You talked about them playing St. Mary's and Gonzaga. That Pacific loss is their 5th loss against a team this season out of the top 100.
Did that ball hit the rim and therefore should have reset the shot clock, even though it technically wasn't a shot? And that's what Greg Nixon, Klaus Endersat, and Brett Nansel were just talking about. And they will head over to the monitor. And it certainly would appear that a reset will be forthcoming with 4:37 to go, and St. Mary's on top 5. And that review didn't take long. Reminder that it's the Play for K initiative tomorrow. A handful of games, including Kentucky and Tennessee, coming your way. Check your local listings for the game that'll be on in your area. Play for K, and ESPN, a proud partner of that initiative, which raises money and awareness for women's cancer research. Action starts Sunday at 1 on ESPN. They choose to not reset the shot clock. Down to 5 for St. Mary's, and the steal. Pause. Going to take it himself and lay it up and in. 16 now for Tyler. Waldo, nice catch and a foul. That will be the 3rd on Collinsworth. And a couple of free throws coming up for Brad.
That's the area of the floor where you saw Bo Levesque catch it that BYU has consistently given up. And the reason they've consistently given it up is because it's been Levesque or Jackson, probably the one player on the floor that you're least worried about on the offensive end. If he turned and faces at that free throw line area, spreading out to the shooters, and then knowing where Waldo is along that baseline area. And it's worked pretty well for them here defensively in the second half.
Waldo tonight is 7th double-double of the season. They've only lost once this year, and Waldo has double figures points and rebounds. Final 4 minutes as Hawes hangs and hits. Levesque lost his footing. 2-on-1 break. Carlino ties it up for BYU. Timeout, St. Mary's. Road woes becoming road warriors as they've come back from 14 down.
Oh, this is a guy that can get going. Tyler Hall, the nation's 3rd leading scorer, one-on-one, be able to make tough shots, and just an unforced error there by St. Mary's. Bo Lefebvre trips, And that leads to a 2-on-1 break, fueling BYU in the transition game. And wow, tie ball game after the first half that St. Mary's had played. It's been a great second half for the Cougars.
The last tie was 2-2 after BYU started out the game scoring the first basket. And look at the second half, close to 60% shooting for the Cougars. And boy, the defense, which has taken so many hits this year, has come up huge here in the second half.
Down the stretch, can St. Mary's get some quality possessions against this zone? And you see the substitution made. Bo Levesque makes a couple mistakes, so now Garrett Jackson into the basketball game. He's going to be a pivotal piece as he'll get a lot of touches there in the middle of that zone.
Kerry Carter now back into the lineup as well. Here is Carter with 4 fouls tonight.
Where is Stephen Holt? Look for him to assert himself a little bit here.
Here he is with the ball, using the Jackson screen. That's way off the mark. Jackson able to get the offensive rebound, and now the Cougars have a chance to take the lead. Collinsworth drives baseline. Carlino for the triple. Tipped up there. Austin with the putback. Six unanswered for BYU in their first lead since it was 2-0. Jackson, 3 from the corner, short. And a foul on the rebound. That's going to be on the Cougars, but they are on top with the big comeback here in the second half. Looking for that elusive road win.
Todd Grisham with a studio update. San Diego State trying to bounce back from their loss to Wyoming earlier this week. And there's a and one from Winston Shepard. They're up 6 with 17 seconds to go. Over on ESPN, the big one today, Kentucky and Florida. Nice throwdown by Julius Randle. He has 10. The Wildcats lead it by 3. They're about to start the second half.
Big finish coming here in Moraga, California. St. Mary's held to just 18 points in this second half as BYU has taken the lead. 2:22 to go. And a look at the other scores from around the conference. Portland beating Pepperdine earlier today. It looks like Gonzaga will stay atop the standings against last place LMU. And then a couple of other games coming up later tonight. That San Francisco-Santa Clara game on ESPNU at 11 Eastern. Just 1 point, 0 field goals in over 4 minutes for the Gales. Carter bumped by Collinsworth, and Collinsworth has fouled out with 2 minutes to go. 2 fouls in the last few seconds for Kyle, and he's done. .6 rebounds tonight.
Just a little bit undisciplined there defensively if you're Collinsworth, and where this really hampers BYU is on the offensive end when the shot clock's going down and they need a guy with the basketball in his hands to get a shot. Collinsworth is that player for the Cougars. Now on the defensive end, you put a smaller player in Hawes on the back end of that zone. If Waldo looks, he could get a mismatch there and post him up.
Winder comes on to replace him. Mika working hard to try and keep the ball out of Waldo's hands down low. Corner, Carter, short, and it bounds all the way back out to Holt. Carter, the drive and the kick. Air ball, but right into the hands of Waldo, and it goes. Timeout, St. Mary's, about 26 to go.
Been really involved in the offense in the second half if you're Brad Waldo, and look what happens. What we talk about, who's on the backside there? It's Tyler Hawes with the responsibility to box out Brad Waldo with Collinsworth just fouled out of the basketball game, and Waldo gets the opportunity with the offensive board. I'm surprised that St. Mary's hasn't involved Waldo more on the offensive end in the second half. He went 4 for 4 in the first half, but great job by the big fella not getting frustrated and creating his own offense by crashing the offensive glass.
That was their first field goal in about 5 minutes to even it up. Do we have another fantastic finish coming? We've had a few of them in West Coast play. Back in December, Chris Adams for San Francisco as they beat Portland. Then in January, right here, Jared Brownridge with the roadie to win it for Santa Clara. And then for Gonzaga, Sam Dower Jr. with just under 2 seconds to go, the game winner to beat the Bronx. If we are so lucky for another one tonight. BYU and St. Mary's even, about 26 to go. The winner gets second place in the league. If it's BYU, they would also get the tiebreak with a season sweep.
I don't think there's any question that Tyler Hawes is going to be a main piece to this play. And Walker's going to have to be very careful. You want to be physical. You want to challenge this space, but you can't put him to the free throw line. The other piece of this is Mika on the offensive glass. Mika and Austin on the offensive glass. St. Mary's, can they check out and limit BYU to 1 shot here?
A foul either way, and we're shooting 1 and 1. This is Hawes, triple team. Backside Austin wide open, and he's fouled as Jackson came over late to help out. And he will force Austin to shoot free throws. He's 64% on the season. And he's heading to the line for the first time.
Well, I love this continuity by BYU because there was about 6 different actions to try and get Tyler Hawes open. And what did that do? That created sensitivity by St. Mary's defensively and opened up Austin there on the weak side for an opportunity now to give BYU the lead.
1 of 2 for Austin. Josh Sharp into the ball game. More size for BYU. And that will allow Hawes to come up to the top of the zone.
I like the substitution. Offensive, defensive substitution. I like that because you're playing just this possession. If you're Dave Rose's squad, and you have to secure a rebound if St. Mary's misses.
The difference, shot and game clock, and the Gales will have to foul. And it's Matt Carlino at 69% on the year, heading to the line. Oh, it went off the official's leg.
Yep.
The official is in play in that situation. A tough break for Carter. And Carlino is 0 for 2 tonight at the line. Shot clock is off. St. Mary's down 1. Timeout Gales.
This is great. I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, what an environment. And you know, the fans here, the passion, the West Coast Conference hoops, and a one-possession game. This game means something. It means something in the West Coast Conference race. It means something in the NCAA tournament picture.
Boy, and we don't have to flash back very far. Can we get another something like this? Either way, this was last year in Provo. Hawes giving BYU the lead, and then Matthew Dellavedova, the Dellavedova dagger, to win it at the buzzer. And tonight, here at St. Mary's, they have retired his number 4 jersey. In a pregame ceremony, and that jersey now hanging from the rafters. And Dellavedova trying to dial up something special for the Gales. Do you like them to go quickly here, and then you give BYU, of course, an opportunity to grab the lead right back?
Well, I like them to just take the first good shot that they can get.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, because if you do miss it and they do get it, you give yourself an opportunity for still a one-possession game with a quick foul for on the Cougars.
Holt, Carter, in trouble again. Carlino stripped it loose, battling for it, held ball, and it will go to BYU. Now Dave Rose wants a timeout with possession and 7 seconds to go.
Again, Carter tries to make a play, but he's tightrope walking that sideline. He's got 2 BYU defenders around him. And I thought St. Mary's waited a little bit too long to be aggressive to try and force the action there.
Well, it's something that we've seen throughout this second half for BYU. The defense has been able to dictate a lot more about what St. Mary's can and cannot do offensively. And you even commented on a couple of occasions how it was a lot of around the horn instead of getting it inside.
It was. I mean, the lack of touches for Waldo. But on that specific play, I'd like the basketball in Stephen Holt's hand to make a decision. I think he's been a little too passive with the basketball. He's actually had it in the second half. But you still have an opportunity now to get a quick foul if you're St. Mary's and still be down just the one possession. If BYU's able to make the free throws now, they've missed a couple here down the stretch.
Terrific finish in store here at St. Mary's. And the Gales with 4 turnovers, 3 of them by Carter here in the last 4.5 minutes. And for BYU at the free throw line, they are 7 of 15 on the night. But 6 of 9 this half.
So the one player you do not want to touch the basketball if you're St. Mary's is Tyler Hawes.
Yeah.
That's who BYU wants to get to take and make these free throws. So you can either throw a couple players on him, take a player off the basketball, but if you're St. Mary's, do not allow number 3 to catch that basketball and make one of these other players step up to the free throw line. Would love, if you're St. Mary's, you would love to see Carlino have to step just having missed one.
He's got a big and a guard down low. Winder is one of the poorer free throw shooters, so he will inbound. They set the back screens, and they get it into Carlino, and the foul with 5.1 seconds to go. And Matt just missed a free throw a moment ago. That is the 10th team foul, however, so this is not a 1-and-1. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Got it. Got them both. 3-point lead. Timeout, BYU. Each side has one timeout left. St. Mary's has the possession arrow. And why is this huge? Well, according to Joe Lenardi, BYU right now is one of the first 4 teams out of the NCAA tournament, with the one caveat down there in white. BYU gets in with a win.
It's big, and you talk about in with the win. We've chronicled BYU's road woes. I think this would also be another feather in their cap. It's not only a win against a quality opponent, but it's on the road against a solid St. Mary's team. They're gonna lean on their defense, and they've leaned on their defense their entire second half. It's the reason why they have this 3-point lead. Only fitting that they need one more stop to secure it.
St. Mary's 3-point shooting today. They are 4 of 19. And now the question, too, for BYU, do you let them take the 3 or do you foul? They make a substitution. Avitas Petroulis, number 13, has come on at midcourt. Will BYU foul before they can get a shot up? And they do. And that is the 7th team foul, so the 1-and-1 for Holt. Holt's first trip to the line tonight with 4 seconds to play, and BYU will get big bodies on the rebound. All 3 big fellas in there together. Holt with the 1-and-1. And now Randy Bennett will use his last timeout, perhaps to strategize about an intentional miss here.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the time, if you're able to foul right away with BYU, the time's going to go off, and then on a make or a miss, you're going to have to get all the way down on the other end of the court and have to hit a 3. We saw it last year with Dellavedova. It can be done, but he's not in uniform. He's in the stands.
BYU down by as many as 14 earlier in the game. They fought back behind the strength of their defense in this second half. And now 4 seconds away from one of the biggest wins of the season for the Cougars. And for St. Mary's, can Stephen Holt miss it to a teammate right here? You've got 6:10 and 6'11" on the line trying to block out for BYU. Holt makes the free throw. And now a substitution. Paul McCoy coming in. And they will try and foul quickly. Halford, the substitution. They want to get Worthington out of there. A poor free throw shooter. And can they get Sharp in here as well?
Nice little chess match going on here between Rose and Bennett with all the different substitutions.
Sharp will inbound. Got it into Halford. He's fouled right away. 2 free throws coming. So even if he makes them both, St. Mary's would have a second or two left to try and heave it. And now
I'm going to check to see, I think, how much time should be left on the clock. Should they put a little bit more time on here for St. Mary's? As it looks like Holt fouls Alford almost instantaneously when he catches it.
Yeah, they might put a little more time on here.
Also gives Randy Bennett an opportunity with no timeouts left to draw up a play. And, you know, the thing, if you're St. Mary's, having Dave Rose kind of showed his cards a little bit with fouling, that was going to be the strategy. I think your pass might have to go across half court. Yeah. Because anything in front of half court now, if you're down 3 points, you know, they can foul. And you don't have enough time nor timeouts yet to make it effective. So I think they're going to have to go for a long pass if BYU is able to make both of these free throws. Then you're in the scoring area and you can put up the shot and force BYU to not foul you in the act.
Cougars rallied from 14 down earlier this month to beat St. Mary's in Provo, and now trying to do the same thing here tonight in Moraga. 3.2, so they add a little bit more time. Halford's first free throw attempt. Free throws for BYU. Carter to inbound. And they don't throw it deep. Holt fouled by Carlino. 1.6 to play. And they did not really look deep at all.
Well, that's what you take. That's the chance you take if you're St. Mary's. If you throw that pass in the middle. And you know, like I said, you give BYU an opportunity. They've already showed you their cards. They've already showed you that they're going to be a team, at least in this game, that's going to foul down 3. And so now if you're Stephen Holt, you've got to make this first one. And that'll give you an opportunity to miss the second and get a putback.
Missed the first one. And the rebound down to BYU. And the Cougars with a huge comeback to get the road win at St. Mary's and take over second place in the West Coast Conference.
What an impressive win. I mean, they had every opportunity when you talk about fouls and being down. Great win for BYU.
60-57, the final score. Coming up next, it's a 30-for-30 Survive and Advance presented by Buick. For Carol Lawson, I'm Beth Mullins. Thanks for being with us. BYU gets the road win.